find any excuse to get out of like organized exercise.
Hmm.
So like I just got home from work, like I walked in the door and Emma walks up to me and she's like, "You want to do yoga?" And I was like, so like fucking no. I just got home from work. What are you talking about? But I was like, "Fine, I'll do it." It was great. It was I always get pissed off right in the middle of yoga because I'm like, "Fuck this. This is stupid. It's way too hard and it shouldn't be too hard. It's like a fucking just one person on TV not having anything going, do this.
Yeah.
Fucking yoga.
I really enjoy it, but I tend to do it and then not do it again for like a really long time.
Yeah.
I don't ever really receive any benefits from it. I just hurt myself. I overextend myself, and then I'm like, fuck that, and then I don't do it for another like year, and then I
Yeah.
go back to it and I'm like, oh, maybe I should try yoga, and then I'm like, oh, I fucking hate yoga.
Or there's the like overwhelming like sense of satisfaction with yourself because that's how I feel after I've done yoga. I'm like, fucking awesome. I did it. That's
Uh-huh.
I did something today. So then I feel like I don't have to do yoga for a long time. So it's like it's one of the two. Either way, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, I either get too mad and don't and like hurt my back,
Oh,
or
you
I'm just
feel
too
you feel so accomplished that you don't have to
yeah,
ever do it again.
I'm like
And
fucking I
someone's
win.
like, hey. Yeah, I mean, this is the best. This is the best way to do yoga. At least I won't be like stinking up a yoga class full of hot ladies. I was always super self conscious about that because I'm
Mhm.
gonna like my I'm gonna start farting. It's gonna happen. I can't
Yep.
like you can't bend me that way.
It's just like when a kid has an infant has an upset stomach, you take their feet and then you put their knees to their chest and then you extend their legs and you just do that and they just go it's just like it's a fucking tool. It's just you're using it like a just it works so well every single time.
Your kid's a little gassy. Just bend him a bit.
Uh-huh.
See what happens.
You're like one of those Russian baby juggling people. Have you seen that shit where they're like they just like have a baby, an infant by the foot, and they're just like wow, and they're
Oh
just
my
swinging.
god,
It's awesome.
that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I need to get on that.
it's one of those things that if that was in America at all, it would be just people would be going crazy, like all sorts of uh, organizations and stuff like that. But it's in a different country, so it's like oh, just watch what they do over there. That's you have no choice in the matter. Just look at this. It's
I
great.
wonder what happens to those babies who get juggled. Like, do they have to go to like a special school afterwards, or
They're
like,
yeah. That's how they make the Cirque du Soleil people.
oh, they just get used to the
Yeah,
momentum
they
of
start
juggling.
fucking wiggling them as a kid. It's nuts. Well, also like their bones are so bendy at that point. They're not like hard yet.
Yeah.
So it's like it takes less than a year, but I think more than 6 months for their bones to like become hard. Like
Oh,
so yeah, when that's why they say babies fucking bounce because like as long as they don't hit their head on something hard, then yeah,
uh,
it's like they can it's a baby can like eat its foot like no problem.
uh,
Huh. That was just more like free
I'm
thought.
gonna have to. I'm gonna have to look that up now. I have to
Oh,
see
it's great.
Russian babies
I think
juggling.
it's like baby juggling or it's let's go private window here. I just don't what is it? It's baby uh oh, it's a baby dynamics. It's like baby yoga actually is what they call it.
They call it baby yoga.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lady that looks like that she like there's a lady that looks like she was a free willy. She's always wearing like a wetsuit or like a swimsuit. I don't
Oh,
know.
oh,
She looks
like
like
she works with SeaWorld.
yeah. Just reminds me of like
she's
she's in
a
Free
she's a
Willy
re-
5.
she's a researcher, but
Yeah, but she
she's
just
really
throws. She'll just throw your tot or your not even toddler infant around. It's great. How's it been going? Are you still off work?
Yeah, yeah. I'm going strong on that. I mean, it's cool. Unemployment's cool.
Yeah.
It's been hard trying to fill my time. I started painting again.
Oh, hell yeah.
I started 3 new paintings, so I'm excited
Dude,
about that.
painting is the most embarrassing thing because I never even I so that's like one piece of art that I never even like did in any way. I painted a
Mhm.
wall in a house. That's about it. But like there was a couple challenges like Chaz Logan Hyde has that painting, the Bob Ross painting
Oh
challenge or
yeah.
whatever. That
Mhm.
show, I was on that a couple times and it was just embarrassing because I was like, I can't do this. I'm so bad at it. I stick figures and shit.
Yeah.
That's cool. What kind of painting is it?
It's abstract.
Okay, cool.
It's pretty abstract stuff with I use acrylics a lot, but I was painting with Justin today in his little paint space. He's got this little serial killer garage set
Nice.
up like
Sounds
painting.
all
Yeah,
right.
it's a really nice setup.
We
But
have a hold on. We have a an art piece by Jay Shingle right over here on the wall. I would
oh
call it
shit.
abstract as well.
Oh nice. I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, my stuff's kind of similar. Let me show you. I'll will you over to my setup here.
Hell yeah. Oh,
I started this new one. I really like it so far. We'll see how it comes along though. How do you switch?
Emma was just talking about getting some more painting stuff today too.
Oh, nice.
She's a really good painter. But I mean, oh hell
It's a
yeah,
really good
that's
one.
really cool.
Yeah, so that's like the sun. This is me chained to a clock over a garbage can. I still need to work on this part here, but this is like, it's kind of like a 2020 like nightmare scope is basically, this has like been my year. It's like a nervous system having like 3 separate nightmares basically is what it is. And then
Whoa.
this is a monster. I think it's Donald Trump. I think subconsciously it's Donald Trump. I mean, look at the colors and
Yeah.
just the because he's kind of been like a driving force for a lot of my anxiety this year. And then this is the part I like. So
Yeah.
it's like people watching Netflix all day during the quarantine, basically.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna do like a snowy screen here and add some more stuff. But this is what I've got so far.
That's
And
cool.
then I did this one today at Amerman's.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I like this one. I'm really bad at hands. I'm trying to do like a thumbs
Hands
up.
are hard.
It looks better than I thought it would. Actually, it's actually coming together kind of nicely.
No,
And
that
then
looks
this
really cool. Is it? Yeah.
weird ass one I started. That's just the background so far.
It
But
reminds me of, yeah, just a person looking up with their hand holding a balloons. It's great.
yeah, well, it's I want it to be like a hand with a thumbs up floating away because it's like be optimistic, but be careful about your optimism. Is what I mean. Like, because it'll fuck you
Yeah.
over. It's kind of negative, but I like very colorful negative things that kind of makes me happy. I like the juxtaposition of something
Yeah,
like
there's
bright and
definitely
colorful but super negative.
there's like dreary wonder in that.
Yeah.
I like that.
But that's what I'm working on right now. And then I got let me show you this. So this is the projector system we have going right now.
Hell
It's
yeah.
kind of to get it like directly where it needs to go. So I have it stacked up on a bunch of DVDs.
Yep. Yep.
But then we have a flat screen or a flat
Yeah.
sheet over. It turns out pretty good, man. Like,
Yeah.
let's see here. I
Dude,
was
that's
playing.
awesome. Last summer we did that almost that same thing. We have an older projector than that. That looks pretty sweet.
Actually, it's
But
pretty cheap, but it's not bad for what it is. I got my Switch on here right now.
dude, is that Leisure Suit Larry?
Yeah, there's a new Leisure Suit Larry, dude. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's
Oh my God.
like
I've never played one of those, but I've just been like, who plays these fucking games?
Dude, they're fun. They're stupid, but they're fun. Like
I
it's
don't, I
really
don't.
bad. It's like humor.
It's like, yeah,
Oh, this is my
National
messy ass room.
Lampoon's
Okay.
kind of. It just, I picture kind of a Porky's kind of. If Porky's could make a game,
I don't know. This one is funny because it's like he's stuck out of time. He kind of like woke up from 1987 and now he's in 2020, and they've got a lot of jokes about that. And it's a lot of like learning how to use smartphones and that kind of stuff. You use Tinder in the in the game. You use Uber basically. It's called Unter though,
oh,
and then
nice.
Tinder's called Timber, and then they have Instagram, but it's Instacrap. It's it's obviously like a. It reminds me of like Grand Theft Auto level satire. It's kind of
Yeah,
similar to that. So
dude,
it's very like fuck the current reality we live in, and kind of pessimistic, but it's a lot of fun.
cool. Well,
Mhm.
that makes me feel that's the first like positive thing because I haven't really like looked into them. I've just kind of ignored them a little bit because the first one like it had boobs in it and I was like it just seems like that's the gimmick behind this game. But I never really looked into it, but that makes it sound kind of like a um was it ever a guy in like college?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the first one I played, and it was
Okay.
actually that one deviated from the style because it's a point and click like computer game initially, and this one went back to the old style. So it's a point and click game on the Switch, but it's a lot of fun. It's
Okay.
kind of you need this item to get to this item to get to that item to get to this
Yeah,
quest
Monkey Island
line or
kind of stuff.
whatever. Yeah, yeah, it's very much I'll trade you, you trade me, and you interact with all the characters. Whereas that one you were talking about is more like a actual like adventure game because you can like you do kind of the same stuff, but you actually like interact with people. You play quarters. You I remember running around and farting and just really thinking that was the funniest thing in the world is just farting on command in a video game. I was like, yeah, finally. And then after a while, he would run out of gas, and it would just be like little squeakers. You'd have to wait for it to build up again,
Oh,
and it
that's
would just
awesome.
like, it's so stupid. And then by
It's
the
fun
end of
that
the
they
game,
actually it's just
right?
fun that they actually like put like dynamics to it instead of it just
Well,
being one fart noise. Because like
yeah, well,
Oddworld, the main character can fart,
yeah.
and I always thought that was hilarious, but it's always the same fart. But that's
Those assholes. The
yeah,
variations.
it's funny. No, it like makes me really happy that someone actually was like, okay, you walk into the game studio that's making that game, and there's a certain team of people that are building the whole like fart part of the game.
Mhm.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah, that one was called Magna Cum Laude,
Okay,
and
yeah,
then this one is called Wet Dreams Don't Dry, which I love the title. I think that's so fucking stupid, but it's so funny.
yeah, that's great. There's been what? There was Abe from Oddworld. There's Larry from that game and Wario, but I don't know if any other characters. If it's
Fart
ever
in
been
video
a
games?
yeah, if it's ever been a the Metal Gear Solid has a running thing in every single one of the games where someone
Mhm.
pisses or shits themselves. I know that.
I know Sims has the pissing yourself. I'm thinking fart wise. I know there was a game. I think it's called Primal Rage for like Super Nintendo and Sega, and there was an ape you could play as, and he could fart. He could fart or burp, and they were like a green gas cloud would come at you and like
Okay.
attack you. I'm trying to think what else. There's gotta be more.
Yeah,
I
why
feel like
why
that's
is that
the
not?
yeah.
It's such
I
a
think
like
you should be. Oh, Grand Theft Auto. In the original Grand Theft Auto, you could fart.
okay.
In the top screen one, the one for
Yeah.
like the early PlayStation.
Yeah, that seems so cool. And then I played it and I was so confused and I've never actually gotten like past the first area in one of those because I don't like the controls so much.
I don't like driving in that game. The driving is
Yeah.
so difficult to
It's like
control
those
because it's just
it's like that yeah, it's like the arcade dirt truck game where you have
Yeah,
the
yeah. I hate that style, and it's funny you mentioned that. I'm playing another game where they replicated that as like an arcade style game you have to beat in order to play through the game. And I'm like, dude, I don't know who did. Oh, and also Chef's Love Shack had one of those for 64. I'm just not a fan of that little tiny. It's just so sensitive.
yeah.
It's not, and you have to just loop it around, and like you can't lose any momentum.
I liked both of the South Park games on 64. They were both great.
Oh yeah, they're fun games. I like the one that had the Turok engine. That one was really cool.
That was the first person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the regular first person game. That game is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Had multiplayer.
It blew my mind when I found out you could pee on the snowball and
Yeah.
you pee on
And
the
you could
snowball,
like,
it gives more damage as you
and
start throwing yellow snowballs.
there's like a cow launcher, and
Hmm.
then on the other player, the cow goes over their face, and it's like the inside of a cow.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They got the alien weapon that makes you sing.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, you hit them with the alien weapon, and they just start singing, and their cheeks get all rosy, and you can attack them. They can't defend themselves.
Okay. Yeah. South Park 64. What a fucking cool game. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Still waiting on my multi cart to come in, but once that comes in, I'm gonna do some Twitch stuff because it has every 64 game ever made on there. That's gonna
Yeah,
be so
dude.
much fun.
Definitely do that. That's gonna be so fun.
Hmm.
Oh man.
On the projector screen, I got a hookup that converts my 64 to HDMI as well. So
Yeah, I've
just
seen
trying
those.
to modernize everything. I'm
Yeah.
excited about that.
Actually, I have one. Is it just the three red white?
It plugs directly into the 64, and then there's
Oh,
an
that's fancy.
HDMI hookup to it. Yeah, it's really nice.
Nice.
So it actually converts it a little. I don't think it's like I only spent like $15 on it, so it's not a really nice one. But they have really really nice ones out there. Like there's one called the M Classic that I don't know all of the ins and outs of the technical stuff about it, but there's something called like anti-aliasing that it gets
Yeah.
rid of. It kind of
It
like
gets rid of the jaggies.
yeah, the jagged edges and stuff, and it's kind of
Mhm.
smooths everything over. But it works on Switch and it works on retro games, and I was looking into that, and that one's really nice. And you can combine that with like an HDMI cord for the 64. Ooh, excuse me. But the cool thing about the one I bought, it's that hookup because you remember Super Nintendo 64 and GameCube all had
Yep.
the same hookup in the back for AV.
So awesome. I loved that. I loved that they did that so much. I've always liked that.
We should have stuck with it. It would have been hard too, but
Just
I mean
well,
that would
just
have been
like
cool.
yeah, have it be that on one side and then HDMI out.
Yeah,
Then
might
just
as well.
keep doing it. But I guess yeah, it would be hard because it wouldn't. Once the next generations of things happened, it just wouldn't match up
Mhm.
with a signal. Yeah. Do you have plans for your $600? I guess the the stimulus thing.
Um, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna save it for hopefully once comedy's back. I'm gonna put aside some money for traveling.
Yeah.
That's my main goal. I want to, whenever it is, 2022 or whenever we start getting
Or
shit
after.
rolling,
Yeah.
or yeah, I don't fucking know. 2023. Yeah, I
Yes.
mean that's what I want to do is I'm saving a lot of the money I'm getting coming in because I'm not really spending much right now. I'm buying a few video games here and there, but that's about it. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna save up money to travel.
I got I saw that like drop in my bank and I was like, "Oh yeah, so I guess it is happening. That's fine. Okay."
Mm.
And then my first thought was, "Ooh, I could get a PS5."
Mhm. I wonder how
Ooh.
many people are gonna get a PS5 with it.
Yeah, but then
I definitely considered it.
I immediately put in my savings and I was like, "Okay. Okay, let's just pretend I don't." But my gut thing was just like, "Mm-hmm. Yep, getting a PS5. That's what's happening." But no. I'm gonna do the thing that I did with the PlayStation 4, and I waited 2 years with the PS4, which I don't know if I can hold off that long, but
Yeah.
I'll probably wait a full year. because this holiday season they'll probably have a,
deal.
maybe, I don't know.
They should
It's
buy. Yeah, they should buy this.
it's selling like crazy, so I don't know.
I've
There hasn't.
heard it's easier to find the Xbox right now. I feel like the Xbox is like popping up stores right now.
Yeah. It's the PS5 has been, not since the Wii has there been a like a console shortage like that, and people gouging other people, and there's even been a shortage of PS4s because
people are buying PS4s up too.
well, because they're just like, well, I can't get a PS5, I guess I have to get a PS4 and then get a PS5 later or something. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming, because like when I was looking for PS4s for my daughter, nobody had them, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I mean, I guess holiday season, that's just how it is, especially when everybody's inside not doing anything.
Exactly. I finally saw Switches coming back because it was in the middle of the quarantine. It was really tough to find a Switch. Apparently, everyone
they got really expensive right at the beginning. Really expensive.
I had a few people try and buy mine from me, and I was like, nah. I was like, that's like my favorite thing in the whole world, so I can't.
Yeah.
And I have a launch one. I like having one from the beginning.
Yeah, that's how I think I have a launch PS4.
Nice.
Oh no, I don't know. I think I have the next one. I don't know. It came with The Last of Us. So I think that was the next one.
Yeah, mine was I bought mine launch day with the I have a special Breath of the Wild case that came with it. It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Dude. When I had the 3DS, I had the Triforce 3DS.
Oh yeah.
And it was fucking badass.
Nice. Yeah, I tried really hard to get those. Those were really tough to get a hold of. And the other one that was even harder was the Majora's Mask one. I remember trying to find that, and it was like $300, $400. Like people were gouging the fuck out of those.
Yeah, working at GameStop was so cool for like just the portion, because like right when I left is when they got all crazy with the being corporate about everything, and so like the way it was when I was there, or like when I was just getting out of there, it was like your reservations for games and subscriptions for the magazine, that determines your hours that you work.
And so yeah, I heard that they make you sell the fuck out of those.
Yeah, so it was just like I hated. I don't like selling things. If someone wants something, they'll be like, "Oh, what's that?" And it's, I don't know. I don't like tricking people. If I can, save someone the maximum amount of money wherever I am, why not do that? Because it doesn't affect me.
And there's been many. I don't do it now. I won't let them pressure me now. But I remember when I was younger, and they first started pushing all that shit, I would be like, okay, like I would like freeze up because especially if I said no more than once, and then they pushed again, I would be like, well, I guess I'm gonna get that. I mean, and they would like in Florida, it was like Florida bros doing it, and they were like, they'd make you feel stupid if you didn't have it, and it's funny because that's actually a sales tactic. Some of the servers I worked with in Beaverton, because technically my restaurant makes you sell these stupid loyalty cards that cost $25 to even get started. So it's kind of similar to GameStop situation where you have to pay money to become part of the program.
But if you trade in your used games and you buy used games at the same time, then it's paying for itself already. I mean,
that's the kind of language they want us to use. And I had servers I worked with that like talk down to them, that like make them feel stupid for not getting it. And I was like, that's worse. I already feel bad. I'm tricking someone into something they might not even use.
Yeah.
Then you want me to make them feel stupid? You want me to gaslight them too? Like, fuck you. Like, that's so shitty. Like,
so
that is so shitty.
Have you ever bought a car from a car dealership?
Oh yeah. Yes.
That's how that feels to me. The whole like, just I shut down and everything. They're like, so they go through 20 pieces of paper that are all different colors and everything, and they're like, well, this is your this, and this is the warranty, and this is, and they have so many things to say in such a short amount of time. I'm not taking in any of it. I have no idea what's going on. So I'm just like, okay, is that the normal thing that people do? Okay, cool. And then the next thing I'm like, is that what I should be doing? Is that, and then I just ask questions that I'll be like, does that cost extra? And then they'll look at me like that's the stupidest question I could even ask. I'm like, well, they're like, well, I don't even know like what kind of things it comes down to, but I remember the couple times I've been in a dealership and there's just like a guy in a like business suit because they send you up to the guy and you gotta go talk to the guy. It's like, okay, well, he's the finance manager. And so he's like, here's all of the shit. And then I don't know, I feel like it's crazy that people understand that kind of stuff at such a young age. Like I'm, almost 34, so young isn't a thing anymore. But
Mhm.
the times that I've done that, I was like 20, and like they have to know that you have no idea what the fuck they're saying.
Yeah, I feel like they need to an extent. Like I get the same way. Like especially with a big purchase like that, it's like, can I just leave with the car? Like, can I just can like
Yeah,
where's the money? Like, can I go? But actually, this car that I just purchased was like one of the easier ones because it was literally just cash. So luckily, the
that's
guy
super
the guy
nice.
was a little pushy and he was a little I mean, luckily the Carfax was clean, so everything else was good about it. But like he was basically, yeah, everything's tip top shape in the car. And like we get in the car to leave and there's like no gas in it. Like just first off, no gas, which is fine. I get it. Maybe they just didn't feel like filling it up again. And then there was a headlight out. And it's just like it's the kind of language like that they use. It's like very deceitful and
Yeah,
and just shit like that. Like it's just I don't know. Like it was not that it's a bad car, and he didn't lie about anything, and he didn't like oversell. He didn't oversell it or anything. Like it was for the blue book value that we paid. It's not too bad, but just like that whole attitude of like, yeah, just get it out of here. Just it's perfect. It's a perfect car. You won't have any issues. Like I don't know.
well, yeah,
Some people are
and
just easier to lie. It's just easier for them to lie, I think,
well,
and they
because
just
it'll take longer and it'll cut into his bottom line if he goes, well, I have heard from the mechanics we have here that there's a couple things wrong with like the left strut, but that's not something you'll have to deal with. I don't think. I don't know. I'm just a car salesman. Then they have to like get like they almost have to go in because how much does that guy actually know? That's what the thing about car salesmen is. It's all like a fun mind game to them. And they're like, I'm just going to learn the stats about this shit, and then I'm just going to rattle off a bunch of stuff. My sister's ex-husband, whatever. Uh, anyway, he was a car salesman. Still, I think is. He's been car lot to car lot, and it's just that he'd read like psychology books because he loved the fucking game and like just making a buck off a sucker, I guess.
Mhm.
Fucking con people.
I almost got a job as a car dealer
It
at
it kind of sounds
Mazda.
fun.
I was kind of thinking it might be cool until I realized that you need to work like 90 to 100 hours a week and you have to do fucking cold calls. You just call people up and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
cars?" I mean, like, what the fuck is that? Like, I'm supposed to fucking bug people? And then it was really funny. The guy, he plotted it out in black and white. He didn't bullshit me, which is funny because they were both car dealers. It's like the only time they would be truthful with you is in an interview, which is strange. But they said there are two types of people who do well as car dealers. They said people who are desperate and people who are sharks. And you don't seem like a shark. That's what they said. So, like, are you desperate enough? And so like it was really funny. And they really wanted to hire me. The first interview went really well. And I had them like laughing and stuff, and they liked me and they thought I had potential. And I was gonna come in for a second one, but they were like, "Well, we're just gonna do a drug test and we're gonna check your driving record." And I was like, "Fuck!" I didn't even think about all that. I was like, not that I have a bad driving record, but I think I had like a ticket on my record at that time,
Mhm.
and I was smoking weed every day. So
Yeah.
I just didn't show up for the second interview. It was too intense. Like I part of me wanted to do it, but also part of me didn't want to because there was a lot of weird. They were like overtly friendly, and then they got super serious, and then it was kind of freaky. It was kind of a lot. It's kind of
Yeah,
intense.
yeah. Because I worked at a car dealership as just a lot attendant for, I don't know, a while,
Hmm.
and that was like I like joking around with all the salesmen, but they were like a weird kind of personality that it was like they like having a little bit of power, and
Hmm.
you can sense that, and it like you just kind of felt it around them. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was I failed a drug test trying to get hired there, which is fun. It was for Capital Toyota here in Salem.
Oh no.
And yeah, so I go in for the drug test, and I mean I'd smoked a little bit of weed, but I was like, whatever. Uh, I've heard that if you don't smoke a lot every day, that it could just not. And also, I thought maybe they were just testing for other things because they didn't say. So I go in, I fail it, and they're like, "Oh, you failed a drug test," uh, but it could have been a uh, false negative or whatever, false positive, whichever way that goes.
Yeah.
And so just go take it again because my sister worked there as she was the finance manager there, and uh, so I got the hookup through there, and so I go back and I got stuff from T Zone, that fake piss, and so
Yeah.
I go and I go do that, and then they call me back and they go, "Hey, there was a problem with your pee." So you have to go back again. So I went back a third time, and then the guy walks me back, and I was like, "Oh, is there something wrong?" And he goes, "Well, yeah." And then he goes and he opens up the cabinet, and he goes, "These are all not pee." And he just had like it was just shelves and shelves of just fake piss. And
Oh no.
he goes,
Like
"Yours
it's
is."
you.
Yeah, and he like pointed out that like mine was included in there, and he goes, "Do
Oh
you have
no.
pee?" And I was like, "Okay, fine." And so I just by that time I had still not smoked weed because I was all sketched out. So then it worked that time. But
Oh damn.
yeah,
That's pretty
to-
intense. People had tried to fool them that many times.
yeah,
Like, that's
yeah.
really funny to me.
There was like probably 8 to 10 just
My
different things of
God.
pee. And he goes, and one of them was like green, like Mountain Dew colored. It's like someone fucking poured some Mountain Dew in there.
Oh
Uh,
fuck.
yeah. I remember that like specifically because I he opened it and he goes, "These are all not pee," and I was like, "Well, duh, that one's not pee." Like that's what I was thinking. But I was so like I was trying to be a good actor at the time. I was like, "Oh, interesting. Those are all not pee." And then he pointed to like one. He goes, "And that one's yours." And I was like, okay." And yeah, that he's like, "So do you have some pee for us?" And I was like, "Yeah." Uh,
It's still so strange to me that they care that much. I don't
yeah.
know.
I mean, okay. So if you had, I guess if I had I don't know, because I was just a lot attendant. But the thing about the lot attendant is they have the keys to every car on the lot. That's the
Hmm.
crazy thing. That's the crazy thing about that job. Is the whole time I was like, dude, if these guys fucking rip me off, or I actually got fired there, and I was like pretty bitter, but I didn't do anything. But dude, on a car lot, the lot attendant has keys to every car, every single car there, and they could just fucking go. They could just there was
You just
so
start
many
handing keys out to people that you
dude,
knew, and they could all steal a car.
I thought about that because I was like, okay, so how are they like what's the foolproof thing here other than the fact that they know they have so much insurance? So
Hmm.
like what's that? And like the lot attendant that is the person that closes up and they go make sure all the keys are in the right spot. It was me opening and me closing. Also, yeah, the days are fucking long. It was nuts. Uh but yeah, so I would just and also they'd be like, here, take take a car off the lot and go get us lunch. Which
Hmm.
they weren't supposed to do, and that's the reason I didn't get fired because I crashed that car that they had me take.
Oh, oh
Yeah.
no.
So they're like, "Hey, go get food over at there's an airport really close to where it was. and it's a restaurant called the Flight Deck. Shout out to the Flight Deck. It's the Flight Deck. It's a great restaurant on an airport. You get to watch planes take off and shit. It's great.
Oh,
Cheap food. Also, yeah. So I went there and I passed a parking spot, and then I was like, oh shit, parking spot. So I put it in reverse, and my music was loud, and so I didn't hear the car honking and shit behind me. Also, I didn't look in any sort of mirror. I just saw a spot. So I went backwards pretty fast, and I crashed right into a Cadillac that was sold by Capital Chevrolet Cadillac at the same car lot. So that all those things worked together to like not get me fired, because they were like, okay, you crashed a car, but those guys told you to take that car. So, you know, and also that's our other car. So we'll just fix it in house.
No outside party. It was all internal.
Yeah. So like nobody has to get involved. Like the cops didn't come. They had the person who bought it, which they only had it for like a week and a half, which is hilarious. Just take it right to the lot. They gave them a different car to go drive around until, it was just all this like really closed thing.
Nice.
But yeah, that's an interesting job, because if anybody out there wants to just find a lot attendant to become friends with, and then they'll accidentally bring home one of those keys that unlocks all the fucking lock boxes on every single car. I did it so many times. Yeah. What a weird
job to have towards the end of civilization. You're just like, well, we can get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. It was, dude. It is kind of cool because a lot of car lots have, I guess not a lot. That one had a gas pump on it, like in the back. So if you had the card, you could just go fill up your thing yourself. Or it was meant like when the lot attendants had the card, it was meant for, hey, go fill up that car because someone's going to go do a test drive, and it looks nicer when it's full. That's what I noticed about you. Like, it wasn't even, there's no gas in it. I was like, well, that's bad form. Like,
yeah,
I got it.
That's bad. It was it was a little dinky lot though. It wasn't like it was like one of those, smaller lots. It wasn't like Dick Hanna or or whatever, whatever the fuck they, I don't know.
It was okay. Yeah. So I would go fill up my car, and then if I had friends in the area, they'd be like, hey, do you have the card on you? And then I'd be like, yeah. And so I would just bring them in the back, because there's like, hundreds of employees on like 3 different car lots that are all put next to each other. So person drives on and just drives in the back. That happens all day long. So I just have people come by and I fill up their cars real quick. It was awesome.
It's nice.
It was fun because I would also like detail cars. And so there would be car salesmen that would just like, give me $20 to like do their car. And then I would find drugs in their car, and that would be great because I like would just take all their weed and all their coke and just be like, I didn't do coke until I did comedy. So I was like way earlier, but I just had it and I just gave it away.
Nice.
It scared me a lot until I did it, and I was like, oh, that's not anything.
I've always been just scared of it because of my weight, but I've had a few nights where I was like, fuck it, like whatever happens, and those were always scary and never worth it.
Yeah, I think treating cocaine like they treated it in the 50s is the best way to go. It's like if you're going somewhere and you feel like you might not be as awake as you need to be, just do a little doodly, and then a
little pit pat.
Yeah, I think that's how to do cocaine responsibly. Now that everything's legal, people should, what the fuck? Oh my god. Okay, people should do their cocaine responsibly. Yeah.
Bring back powder rooms 2021. That's my stance.
Powder my nose.
Yeah, powder your nose room. Have one of those like crucifixes like Sarah Michelle Gellar had in Cruel Intentions. You remember that? She had that crucifix necklace that had a little Coke reservoir in it, and she had a little spoon.
Oh, nice. No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's one of my favorite 90s like teen dramatic love story, whatever. It's a great movie.
I do like Ryan Phillippe. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
It's Phillippe, right? That's how you say it.
It's Ryan Philippi, is what I believe it.
Ryan Phillippe.
Yeah,
He's the I don't know. He's the trailer park version of Justin Timberlake, but I like it still.
yeah. He is. He's like Justin Timberlake in a dirty pond. I don't know.
Justin Timberlake.
No, it's a fun movie. Now cocaine. Yeah, it's a hell of a drug, as they say. Oh man. I really haven't touched it. The last time I did it, I was cuddling a Snorlax beanbag chair, and I put on Hardcore Henry for some reason because I thought that would be a good cocaine movie. That's
because it's really like intense and frantic, and it's like, okay, let's see.
I wanted to, and then I was like, I watched it for like a second. I'm like, no. Mm-mm. I was like, why would I do this to myself? This is a bad idea.
Yeah, Heart Rate Up, a movie that makes your heart rate go. It really does. That movie is intense enough to where, yeah, you just feel. I just watched. Speaking of that, I watched Cloverfield for the first time.
Oh, the original?
Is there an old one?
The found footage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's well. There's like Cloverfield Lane, and then there's
there's 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, and then there's a sequel to
There's another one of those.
I can't remember. The lore is interesting. I really like Cloverfield though. I've only seen that one. I saw that in theaters.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. I mean, I saw because the full trailer, which is it was like a clip. When they first released the trailer for that, it was like the intro party thing. It was like a 5 minute long thing. And I remember seeing that and going like, oh, that looks intense. And I never got around to watching it because whatever reason.
I think I remember the trailer. It had like the Statue of Liberty came like crashing down in the middle of the street.
Yeah, that was one of them. Oh yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So but it showed a lot of the party scene just before that. And then yeah, maybe it just cut to the Statue of Liberty's head, fallen and but I watched that with my daughter who, she doesn't really do scary stuff. She doesn't like it. But yeah, she liked that. So I think she's starting to get into kind of darker things and like scarier stuff. It's fun. It's interesting getting there. I played. You ever heard of 7 Days to Die? Oh, it
sounds like The Ring.
Yeah, it does. It's a game. It's a game that's like a survival horror, not horror, because it's like a survival crafting game where you run around and you like make a place and defend yourself against zombies. But I played that, and that game scared the shit out of her, and then she had nightmares for like a month straight, and I was just like,
no.
It was. I felt bad, and it bothered me enough that she would keep fucking waking up and be like, "I'm having more nightmares about zombies." And I'd be like, "Okay." So I can't even play that game anymore just because I got all sorts of bad associations with it now. But it's fun. But I think I'm done with zombies. How do you feel about zombies?
What was that on? What system was that one on?
It's on everything. I think it's on Switch, PS4. It's good if you like zombies. It's a good game.
I'm coming back around to zombies. I didn't get into Walking Dead or the spinoff of Walking Dead. I really couldn't watch it. I watched the first episode and I was like, that's cool. I just don't want to invest so much of my time in it. You know what I mean?
I think the first episode of The Walking Dead is just like if you watch just that, leave it there.
It's actually really good. It's a good show from what I saw, but I just don't because I've heard from people who watch it like you have to sit through like a second or third season that's really rough and really boring. And I wasn't into it. I feel like that was kind of the nail in the coffin for the zombie genre in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Uh, I love them in video games. I really enjoy Resident Evil. The remakes of Resident Evil are a lot of fun. I played those during the pandemic.
Resident Evil
Um,
5 is really good. I like that one a lot. I
yeah,
mean Resident Evil 4, that's like the pinnacle of Resident Evil games. That's the top. Um
that
Resident
remake of the second one might be the new best one, I think, or at least like technically,
How
because
does it play?
they
Does it
added so much.
play like does it play like the old ones do?
It plays kind of like four
Okay, that
in the way
sounds
it's
better.
over the shoulder. It's not like the original. It was like a tank. You could only move in like
Yeah.
basic, and it was hard to aim.
I,
This one,
I cannot do those controls.
yeah, it's really tough and it's really terrifying because
That's
if you get the learning curve, you're like, what the fuck? You're just like, I guess I'm running. Bye.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
the thing that makes that game even scarier to me for sure, is just not knowing what the fuck to do and like I'm going that way now? No, run away from it. Exactly.
That game was the first game to really scare me as a kid, and it really stuck with me. Was Resident Evil 2. But
Oh, one
the
second.
remake's
7 Days to
amazing.
Die. 7 Days to Die is on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Oh, so no Switch. Okay, I think I might check it out on Xbox just to see what it's like.
Pretty good.
Um, yeah, I really enjoyed the remake though. The remake of Resident Evil 2 was great. They made it so like you had to be super tactical. The zombies were terrifying. They learned from how you would attack them.
Does that
So
one
like
have
if
Claire in it?
yeah, you can be Claire or Leon, and it's the
Oh, I
same
didn't know
basic.
Leon was in any other games other than
Yeah,
4.
that's the first game. That's where they introduced Leon is Resident Evil 2,
Oh, okay.
and then he comes
For
back. He's also in the Game Boy one, but I never played that one. Like just story
Claire
wise, he's involved
Redfield,
in.
right?
Yeah, Claire. She's the sister of Chris, who's the main character of the
Oh
first game.
yeah. He's the big dude with the short black hair.
He's got and he's in Resident Evil 5 as well. He's got the giant biceps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that everyone made fun of. Like he's just got these fucking massive biceps that are like bigger than his waist. It's really
I
weird.
I liked the lady in that game. What was her name?
Oh, the lady, I think wasn't she like an FBI agent or something? She's cool. I like her. I can't remember her name. I played that. That's a game. That's funny. We mentioned that. That's a game I played on cocaine. The first time I ever did cocaine was Resident Evil 5. That was intense. That was not a
Shiva.
great experience.
Yeah, I could see that. I think I played that. Her name was Shiva, by the way. Sheva.
Oh, Shiva.
Yeah. Oh no, it's Sheva.
Shiva. Yeah.
That's how they
Shiva
pronounce it in the game, at
is
least.
the league.
Um. Yeah. No, I played Resident Evil 5 in the same way I played through Halo, like the whatever Halo games, and I guess a couple other co-op games was when I was married. I didn't want to go home after work, so I would just say I'm working late, and then I would go over to my friend's house and I would smoke weed and cigarettes, and we'd play video games for like 3 hours, and that was like I just did I did that so often. I just go play Smash Bros, and then I'd get home and she'd be like, "Were you smoking?" And I'd be like, "No, my coworkers were." And she'd be like, "You think I'm an idiot?" I'm like, "I mean, my coworkers were smoking." But
You weren't wrong. I mean, you're not wrong.
yeah,
You're not wrong there. Your coworkers were smoking.
that was one of the
though.
dumbest things that I tried to do all the time is just hide the fact that I was smoking.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend I hid that from, and it's funny because she ended up turning into a huge stoner. It was literally like just what her family thought that she shouldn't smoke, and her family they used the word druggie when they talked about me smoking weed. They called me a druggie, and I was like, I smoke weed. I don't like. was like, that's all you guys know about. I'm not a druggie.
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
That's all you guys know about. Like, I'm not a druggie. And then I was like, I was probably totally a druggie. Like, whatever
Yeah,
the fucking druggie is.
they could read it. Well, also like, okay, so you're an adult now. Do you ever look at, I mean, I don't know how long ago that was, but even like younger people, do you ever look at them trying to be like inconspicuous about shit and you're like, "Oh my God, how fucking stupid are you?" Like you just don't even get it yet.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel that way about people who are like really drunk and they're
Yeah.
just trying to like do anything normal, like walk, like I don't know, like order stuff. Like I get really, I don't really have the patience for young people when I serve them and they're drunk. Like a couple of times this summer when I was serving in the bar, there's a lot of drunk younger people, and I was like, everyone knows. Like it's like everyone knows you're drunk, even the people in the dining room, which isn't even fully
Yeah.
connected. Like
Just the
you get,
shark eyes that are
yeah, they can hear you. You, yeah, it's going all over the
uh
place.
speaking of that, did you do anything for New Year's?
Uh, nope, I didn't do anything. I watched people's Instagram stories from Florida where hot girl pandemic is in full effect and no rules apply. Uh, it's insane. I watched a lot of other people doing really fucked up things like throwing parties and just drinking and being all over each other with no masks and just
Yeah, my buddy from Florida, he played a show. Like
yeah.
there he's a drummer in a band. So I mean, he's probably the safest as the
Hmm.
drummer, but I mean, that's I don't think that's something they're thinking about because it's like he's playing a show and
Hmm.
it's at a bar and it's a New Year's show and there's a shitload of people. It's like, oh, okay.
It's absolutely insane. It blows my mind. I'm like, and they just hit. I think they just hit 22,000 deaths in Florida alone. And I think Oregon, I know we're not as populated as Florida is. We just hit like, I think we hit maybe 1,000 or maybe 3,000 at the most, I think. Or we're somewhere there. I don't know exactly what our numbers are, but um yeah, Florida just hit 22,000. Oh, and they reported their first case of the mutated version of the virus there already.
Nice.
And it's like, dude, you guys don't give a fuck, do you? You really don't care. And it's funny because it affects older people the most, and Florida also has the most old people. So
Yeah.
fuck you guys. Fuck you young people for being big.
Florida is a very selfish state.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many people that, you know, there's the old people that go to like, save their money and just go die kind of in a nice place.
Hmm.
That's probably in the back of their head. But then there's a lot of younger people who are like, fucking, let's go. Let's hustle. Let's get some drugs. Let's go to the beach. Let's fucking party. And that's, I mean, I mean, that's not necessarily true because like the other half of my friends are like started their own food business. And,
Hmm.
but that's still an interesting thing of like, that's not shutting down.
Yeah. They're very much taking that side of like, um we got to keep all these restaurants and businesses open. So I can appreciate it for that, but they're not even wearing masks. Like they're not even trying. Like I mean, most of the rest of the country, well, I don't even know if it's most of the rest of the country, but a good portion of the country is still shut down and they're not at all. And I just
Mhm.
don't, it's it's just kind of, and the fact that people are going to Florida because they're more open than other states is really fucked up. I think that's insane to me. Like I've heard of a few people that like excited to go down to Florida because there's no mask mandate, and it's like, why are you excited to go to a place where it's more rampant and no one's being safe? That just sounds insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that are comedians that are just deciding to move to Austin because Texas is the same way.
Oh,
They're
that's
just yeah, so they're just like their venues are just open. They're having shows. I mean, it's still spaced out, but because that's like a federal mandate as opposed to a it's like there's different levels to the mandates because it's like you can open, that's a state mandate, whether you're going to open or not. But the federal mandate is if you're going to open, you got to space it out.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, it seems like Florida's ignoring all of that. I
Yeah.
think,
Well,
I don't think anything.
that's the whole mindset of Florida is like, I think people there, if they could secede, they'd be like, well, fuck it, we're just our own island over here now.
Mm-hmm.
If they could chop that little dingleberry off there.
Yeah, I think we should. I really think we should just saw it off. That would be nice.
I see, man, I miss Florida so much, and I don't have many bad things to actually say about it other than like there's some crazy fucking people there. And that's where a lot of them just go to either be crazy because they can, or they get crazy because a lot of things are available that'll make it crazy.
Mm-hmm. I just can't. I can't do the heat. I miss the beach, but I can't.
Mhm.
I can't imagine any version of myself that goes back there at all.
Yeah.
I think it's really tough.
Yeah, that's I wish that like this sounds terrible, but there's part of me that's like just a little bit of global warming, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I get cold and I'm like, man, fucking Oregon sucks for like half the year.
Winter's really rough.
No, I mean I guess like really there's probably 3 months of hard winter that just kind of suck balls here. But I guess
Mhm.
that's the thing of Oregon is like you literally get everything because the summer's really nice.
Mhm.
The winters are really shitty. Sometimes it can snow. The falls are really good because of all the trees. And the other one, what's the other one? Spring flowers.
Yeah.
Sure.
Spring is beautiful here. Did you forget spring? That's really funny.
I forgot spring. Yeah. I know there's another one. Oh yeah, other winter. Forgot.
Winter, summer, fall. What's that one? That's funny. No, I find myself. It's the weed. It's the weed smoking. I find myself forgetting words like that all the time. No, I really like spring here. When I first saw spring here, it blew my fucking mind because I've never really like Florida. You don't experience spring really. It's just kind of
That's
like
true.
summer. It's perma summer, but spring was like it was like watching a fucking cartoon on like I don't know. It was like all of the fucking. It felt like a Disney cartoon with all the little squirrels and birds and
Everything comes to life at the same time.
yeah. It
Like
reminded
within
me.
a week, yeah.
It reminded me of those like old Disney cartoons where the flowers are dancing and shit, like to the beat of the cartoon. And yeah,
Like halfway through Fantasia when the flowers start fucking each other. Isn't that that's a weird part?
my favorite part. I came to a realization today that I pretty much put myself through AA without doing AA, and that comes down to basically just my consumption of coffee. Like I drink so much coffee now. I drink like I feel like 2 pots of coffee almost a day at this point. I was laughing with Aberman about that. I was like, we just need a higher power, and then we are both like, like
Coffee.
that's for us. Like I guess coffee would be, yeah.
I mean,
Coffee's a good
like
higher power.
coffee and weed when that mix hits really well, it's so good because it's
It really,
like I don't know, you have to hit it at the right like wake up time and like the right amount of motivation.
yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I've hit some pretty good runs and just like been in the zone a few times
Mhm.
creatively. Just a lot of coffee and a lot of weed, just like almost breaking through to the other side and be like, okay, cool. This is
Mhm.
this almost feels like I'm, you know, fucking flow state.
It's bad when you hit the wrong amount. Like if you get I've done that a few times where I just drink too much coffee. We kind of got to that point today where we were both just kind of like sitting in that little art space, like jittering, like
Yeah.
going back and forth. And I was smoking a vape pen. I wasn't smoking real flower, so that kind of got to me too fast.
Just all chemicaled out. Yeah.
And I was like, I had to sit down and play video games for like 2 or 3 hours to calm the fuck down. But
Dude, everybody here on New Year's. So it was me, Emma, Zach, and my daughter.
Mhm.
And Zach does a thing where he likes to get really drunk. And it was like at 11,
Mhm.
like not PM, like turned up to. It was, but it okay, do you ever have someone that gets drunk around you and it's so obnoxious, but it's the funniest fucking thing, and you can't
Mhm.
be mad because god damn it, it's so fucking that's this guy. It's
Yeah.
it was so loud and obnoxious, but it's fucking New Year's Eve. Who cares?
Mhm.
And it was really fun. And I drank a whole bottle of Martinelli's to myself.
Oh,
Like
the
holding
apple
that
juice?
because I
Yeah.
was just like, well, fuck it, I gotta something because like I want that, I want to do that, but I'm
Mhm.
not that's a I don't want to feel that way tomorrow. And yeah, he felt really bad. Also, so he has a is it around here? Okay. He's got a bag of illegal fireworks, like fucking
Mm.
like real big ones. So he would not stop talking about it. He's like, so we're gonna go light fireworks now, right? And he just uh, overly drunkenly was just would not stop talking about that. So we bring some bottle rockets out, and I'm still kind of sketched out because I'm like, I got my daughter here. I don't want to do something that's officially illegal, even though we can hear explosions, not exactly fireworks, explosions going off all over the city, sirens everywhere. And it was just insanity, but I'm still like, no, I don't want to light off a bottle rocket. I don't want to do it. Uh, but eventually, and also I was the only sober person. My daughter was fucked up. So uh, I was like, yeah, let's do some bottle rockets. And Zach just takes one and he holds it. It's this long, and he holds it by the bottom, and the bottle rocket is right here in front of his face. And
Oh,
he's
Jesus.
just holding it, and it just goes whoosh, and it explodes right in front of his face. And
Oh
I
my
was like,
God.
dude, and we were all like 5 feet away, like, and our ears were ringing. And he's like, yeah, that fucked it up pretty bad. But he was just so, I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God.
There's that part of being drunk that is like you almost feel no pain,
Mhm.
or like it doesn't matter at the time. It's like, ah, fuck it, who cares?
My my favorite like recent uh like just watching of like really drunk people was it was a couple of months back. We were having outdoor mics. It was before things got locked down again.
Yeah.
And these two comics, they're a couple. They went to the convenience store that was like right around the corner, and the mic space that we were at, they don't mind if you like buy stuff from the convenience store and you consume it at the picnic tables there. And they were already hammered and just like incoherent and like talking back and forth to each other and stuff. But they bought two giant tall boys, excuse me, of White Claw. They bought a 6 pack of some other like cider, and then they bought all these like chips and all these snacks and stuff. They were like drunkenly like half eye open, like feeding each other these chips like at the table, like while the mic was going on, and like talking to each other like full volume, even though the comic was on stage. And it was really funny. They just kind of like took off, and I was hanging out with comics afterwards. Like I was gonna go smoke with some comics, and they're like, "Oh, maybe we should get some beers." And I look at the table, and I'm like, "I don't think you guys need to buy anything." And I just I pulled it out, and I felt like a fucking superhero because I was the only sober person. I was like, "Look
Yeah.
what I found, and I'm not gonna have any. Here you go." Like, but dude, I was just like, dude, it was so funny. Like they were so hammered, like almost falling down hammered, and they bought them stuff like they had more than they needed even, like, and that was something I forgot about, like is like just purchasing way too much. You know what I mean? Like, and just like, oh,
Yeah.
the night's not gonna end here, and you're like, your body's like, no, the fucking night's over. Like, and some part of me is like, did their brain make them forget the beer there because they were so fucked up? Like,
Yeah.
they
That's
took
like
like two
the
sips out of the tall boys too. The tall boys were like just completely open and barely drank out of.
it's like I've noticed there's kind of like a Darwinistic thing that happens at food establishments of like if you have to remake something because you fuck it up,
Mhm.
uh if you get hungry, you get stupid. So then you're like subconsciously providing yourself with food because then you have to remake it and you're like, oh, I'll just fucking eat that one.
Oh yeah, no, I like that. That's really smart actually. Your brain's like, get some fucking nutrients, dummy.
Yeah, it's like it's just a adaptable thing for the way that we handle food now.
Mhm. I don't know. I really, it's funny because one of the comics I'm talking about, he's in a couple. Um, he'll get up on stage and just rant, and he's just so silly when he's drunk. But you're also like, oh God, this is not good. You're like, buddy, like, but it's so funny. I don't know. I don't think he realizes why it's funny, or he even knows that he is funny. But he's getting laughs and he's enjoying that at least. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
it's
There's
kind
part
of
of
like
me
this.
that like I'm only trying to figure out who you're talking about without saying it. I don't want to say it, but I'm just
Yeah,
trying to like yeah.
I don't know if you might have met him. I don't know if you've met him before. He
Okay, well then it's definitely not the two people I thought it was already.
yeah one of one of so he always cracks me up. He looks like a Ninja Turtle without a shell, is what I always say. He looks like he's always wearing a bandana. And I'm sorry if he's listening to this, but they're both sweethearts, and I care very much about them. But that was a funny night. They were very very drunk.
I was trying to throw out even like a joke answer, but like I don't know. Oh,
Yeah,
Dan Weber, I get what you're talking about.
and Weber hammer. No, no, not Dan Weber.
Yeah, no. Oh man, I'm excited for that. He's like a reason I'm excited for comedy to come back. There's a lot of people that I'm like, oh yeah, I got really into comedy because of like I like seeing that person do comedy,
Mhm.
and it was like
Yeah, I
I get to
miss
do that a
seeing
lot.
people. I really miss seeing people, and that's something that's been really fucking with me. And the other thing that's been fucking with me is like the times I've gone out and like to the parking lot mic and stuff. It's like a
Mhm.
bunch of dudes I don't even fucking know. And I'm like, God, do
Yeah,
we really need a new crop of fucking like it's a pandemic. Can you guys calm the fuck down with following your dreams, assholes? Like
yeah.
it's not necessarily fair to say, but it's just so weird to me that there's like
It's
these
hard
groups
because
up.
right, and it's hard because it's like it's you can't tell someone they're doing it wrong or they're doing
Yeah.
it for the like wrong reasons or whatever because like now that a lot of this shit's happening there's been things with me that I'm like well if I'm gonna fucking do comedy I gotta figure out a way to do it and adapt and fucking figure something out because
Hmm.
I kind of pulled a shoot halfway through my choices in life and was like well I'm not gonna be married anymore I'm gonna do comedy instead and then whoops like
Exactly.
it goes away but I
That's really
mean
frustrating. It's like
makes it
I
sound like I'm regretful, but I'm not. I'm happy.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel like a loser without comedy. I'm like I don't have anything. Like I'm an out of work waiter if I don't have comedy, or
Yeah,
I'm like nothing else. I mean, not that I'm nothing else, but it feels that way. I've invested. I've had blinders on for so many years, pursuing one thing. I don't know.
well, yeah, and
I'm happy.
that's like with the way that I assume you were too. That was 80% probably of like your concentration of anything. You wake up and you're like, okay, what mics am I going to hit tonight? That's probably like the first thing you think of is like, and you
Mhm.
even get probably woken up with comedy. You go, oh
Yeah,
shit, and you got to write something down or fucking type it in your phone.
exactly.
Did that a couple days ago. I'm nervous. I'm on Truth or Dare Live on Tuesday,
Mhm.
or 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half. I don't know how the time frame works out for when this. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it either was awesome because I finally talked about, I don't know, or whoops, I don't know. I have no idea. But no, I'm excited, but I'm also nervous because I haven't done comedy like this, like on a this kind of thing. You did
I
really
was
good.
I was pretty nervous too, actually. And I told my Santa Claus suicide joke and bombed at the end. I was like, yeah, well, that's about right. But that yeah, that was fun. That's the only time I've had a really good time doing online comedy. Really, like, and I've only done one other show, but like, and a few mics here and there. But like, I don't know. That show translates really well to this format, which is nice. It was a
Yeah,
lot of fun,
yeah.
and
It's nice that
I'm
it's
sure you'll do
supportive, so
good.
I don't have to feel like I keep having to convince myself, because this was like the same kind of stuff I would get in my head about when comedy was live in front of
Yeah.
people, of like, I don't want I don't want anybody to think what I say is stupid. Like, that's
Hmm.
obviously that's like the one thing, but like and it's, yeah, but I don't know, it's the repetition of having it all the time makes all those feelings go away, because then it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking, if this one doesn't go well, then, well, I'll do it again tomorrow.
Exactly. I mean, I
uh
think the only time I ever really got super nervous was when it was a big stakes show, or if it was at Helium. Like, I never wanted to do poorly at the open mic at Helium. That was one thing. I was always like, I'd
yeah,
always get nervous no matter what. And I'd always try and utilize that energy. Like, I've had tepid sets at Helium, but I feel like I've never like truly bombed. But like,
nice.
I always had that. Well, the last Portland's Funniest I did was kind of a bomb. But I don't know. I really like that nervous feeling. It's kind of nice to have it back.
Yeah,
It kind of reminds you why you do this, is the gamble.
yeah, it's nostalgic in a way of like, oh, I forgot about that drug. Like,
Hmm.
there's a different, like, the way that I was am still, but like when it was live and crazy, the way that I was addicted to comedy, just because of how open it is and how much you get to explore different anything. It's comedy is anything. So like, it was just really interesting seeing, I'm saying obvious stuff, but it's really interesting seeing where it can go, because it is anything.
Hmm.
And so if it's online, I've seen, every, like, so many different types of little sets like that, and it's always been like, oh yeah, you can do that.
I need to start doing more online ones. I just feel so I feel out of it. The bombing. I bombed at the last parking lot mic I went to, and I just like, the bombing hurts worse now when you don't have, like we were saying, like, it didn't matter because you had like two or three other mics to hit that day or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And now it's like, fuck, I
Hmm.
gotta wait a week to try again. Like, fuck, I'm just okay. I'll just think about that for a week, and
Yeah, that's,
it's
I
just
mean, that's how
frustrating.
we all, in Salem, it was, I mean, I guess there was mics at bars and stuff, but those never felt like they counted, because there was Front Street, which was garbage. That was the one I ran. And I mean, I
Mhm.
guess I ran the other one at Denbar too. But Denbar was okay, but it was
Mhm.
never more than like 10 people ever. Like, when it was 10 people, that was because there was like 10 comics and they brought people. It was
Mhm.
rarely ever just like, hey, what's this? Oh, cool, comedy, rad. That, but Capital City, or the Infinity Room, uh, it's almost like dead naming a club. I
Mhm.
don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. But yeah, so but back when it was Cap, was it was such a great club, and when you did bomb there, it was like, fuck, man, because
Mhm.
like, I have wrong kind of practice over here because that doesn't convince me that any of this shit's funny or not funny. It's just those people are drunk and these comics aren't paying attention. And it's just me talking to, you know, Wolf's Run, the jackpot thingy lottery.
That's the worst when you tell a punchline and then you just hear like that. You just hear a machine and you're like, God damn it! Like,
Yeah.
oh, the machine didn't even like it. Like,
Yeah, that's the bar crickets.
we had a place that was called Spare Room, and David Mascaro used to host it, and it was
Okay.
it was a it was literally like this like main room, then a little sidebar that had like columns, and then like a little alcove, and in the alcove would be people gambling, and you would tell your jokes in this main area, and we had people gambling and heckling us at the same time, being like, that wasn't very funny. And then you'd be like, you're gonna lose all your fucking money. Like, it was like a back and forth. It was always like, fuck you, you're losing your money, and there's a mermaid on your screen, you're an asshole. Like,
Yeah,
that was
you're losing your money on computers right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That was the one I was thinking of when you would tell a punchline sometimes and you just hear like the ringing of the machine. It was fun though. When a joke did land there, you felt like you were pretty funny. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. It's like putting weights on your bat. But
resistance training.
I'm gonna get going on here, and it's been a good chat.
Yeah, man. Always good to see you.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for watching, everybody. This has been. Oh, it's over there. Just look at that. That's what it is. It's fucking right there. Boom, bam, boom. Awesome. Thanks for watching.